Peace can only be achieved together through the organization of the broadest public discourse on the most complex and controversial issues of our day. The unity recognized by the peoples will also make it possible to understand the importance of joint construction of a great Eurasian partnership. The first Congress of the Eurasian Peoples Assembly was held on May 27–29, 2017 in Moscow. The Congress was attended by over 2,500 representatives of non-governmental non-profit organizations from 67 countries of the Eurasian continent. Realizing the interdependence of peoples and shared responsibility for the future of the planet Earth, giving the priority to unity and a safe future, culture and socio-economic development, intellectual and spiritual growth, the participants of the first Congress decided to establish the International Union on Non-Governmental Organizations, Eurasian Peoples Assembly. The main goal of the Assembly is the formation of a public integration model for the sake of establishing peace and harmony, the development of multilateral cooperation and public people's diplomacy. Today, more than 800 individuals and legal entities, representatives of non-governmental organizations from more than 45 countries, have formalized membership in the Eurasian Peoples Assembly. The Eurasian Peoples Assembly is open for the broadest dialogue and cooperation. The Days of the Eurasian Peoples Assembly project contributes to bringing together the efforts of governmental and non-governmental organizations in the development of Eurasian integration processes, the approval of peacemaking ideas, the expansion of international cultural, humanitarian and economic cooperation, the development of business partnerships, the establishment of new business contacts, the signing of agreements and the exchange of experience between the countries participants of the Days of the Eurasian Peoples Assembly, expanding the organization's peacekeeping mission. The project Immortal Memory includes activities aimed at preserving the memory of the Great Patriotic War and World War II. The International Public Forum, preserving the memory of the Second World War and the Great Patriotic War, became the binding basis of the project. Representatives of 27 countries took part in the sessions of the International Public Forum. The International Public Action Garden of Peace, under the slogan "Plant a tree, save the planet, keep the world," is the development of activities to perpetuate the great memory. It was launched by the Eurasian Peoples Assembly together with its partners. The permanent action started on the day of the historic meeting on the Elbe and became a reminder that peace in the world can only be achieved by joint efforts. On the very first day, the action gathered participants from 18 countries. During the pandemic, a difficult period for all mankind, when people began to think more about the true values of life, a peace song was written dedicated to our planet, ecosystem, peace and love among peoples. The Assembly members are united by common goals and aspirations to make the world stable, free from war, violence and suffering, shared responsibility to history for the preservation of the achievements of predecessors, responsibility to the future for the preservation of the ethno-cultural identity of all peoples, spiritual and moral ideals, and the transfer of social experience to future generations. Mutual understanding among the peoples is possible with the acceptance and respect for the values on which the worldview of each of them is based. Intercultural communication, international humanitarian and economic cooperation is the most successful way to bringing these values to the consciousness of peoples of other cultures and in forms that could be better understood and accepted. The annual activity program of the Eurasian Peoples Assembly includes events aimed at strengthening integration processes through multilateral cooperation with partners from different countries of the Greater Eurasia. Currently, the Assembly has signed 120 agreements with partners in various fields of activity. The Eurasia Kids Humanitarian Project of the Assembly is the priority area of the organization's activities from the first days of its establishment. The project includes information and cultural exchange between children of Eurasian countries. The formation of the Eurasian Youth Assembly is an important area of the Assembly's activity. The events of the Eurasian Youth Assembly are significant in their content and relevance for the younger generation. Ahead is the further development of the Assembly as an important instrument of public diplomacy in the conditions of the formation of a multipolar world. the search for the new innovative contours of the future broad partnership of the international community in the interests of sustainable development of mankind. In March 2021, the Eurasian Peoples Assembly established the Department of Happiness. Its main tasks include activities on cooperation in achieving sustainable development goals to increase the happiness index in Eurasian countries. What our next step should be? Of course, towards each other. It should be the step uniting people on the principle of friendship without distinction as to ethnic, racial, national origin, religion, social status, political, worldview and ideological convictions. A step of humanity. A step of mutual respect and benevolent partnership. A step of strengthening peace and trust. The plans for the near future include no less global tasks and major projects, including the World Public Summit, the International Forum of Non-Governmental Organizations, Eurasiada. Self-organization of people of goodwill is an important part of actions aimed at the formation of a multi-level integration model of life. And we invite everyone who shares the tasks and goals of the Eurasian Peoples Assembly to constructive cooperation.